What's up, guys? Back again. Hey, I appreciate all the support thus far on the channel. It's been awesome. But we've got a whole tip series coming down the line. We've got new videos dropping every week with these fishing tips, and I want to give you a really good one. You know, I'm here on the Potomac River. We just finished up our last tour event of the season, and one of the ways that a lot of guys are catching them here in this tournament is fishing grass beds. Now, there's grass beds in a lot of lakes around the country, and I'm going to show you how I find submerged grass beds that you can't physically see, because everybody can physically see the grass beds, then everybody can find them and fish them. I want to show you the ones that are offshore, that are harder to find, that you can't physically see. I'm going to show you how I find them. I'm also going to show you how I like to fish them, because there's 2 or 3 bait choices that I like to employ that's going to help me catch those fish. So let's run over here. I'm going to show you a couple little tricks. So what I'm doing is I'm physically looking for the grass in these little half-moon bays along this shoreline right here. Grass likes to grow in, you know, fairly shallow water, and I'm just watching my Garmin, and I'm trying to see when the grass is going to pop up. Right now I don't see anything. I'm just cruising along through here at a medium speed. You want to range anywhere from 3 foot out to about 6 foot. Got to be careful not hit something. But this is how we find it the fastest, is just by physically driving the boat on plane. And I'll zigzag back and forth. I'm starting to see some here. Here we go. Oh yeah. So I started to see now on plane, you know, you can't see it real good on plane, but I started to see those strings of that grass popping up. We're in 4.2 foot of water, and look at all the grass popping up here. Now, here's the other thing. So the 3 sonars that I'll run a lot of times is your side view, your clear view, and your traditional. You can see the traditional right here, all the grass, it's real stringy. So what I like to do is then try to find the edge of this grass. I can see it on my side image as well. The side view is showing it very well. You can see all the little poofiness out here. It's like clouds on the side view. I've got it ranged out to about 50 foot, and I'm just going to cruise along real slow. Yeah, there's a lot of, oh yeah, see there's a lot more grass to my left, and it's a lot thinner out here to my right. So I know that I'm basically close to the edge right here. 4 foot of water, nice spacing in the grass. And what I'll do is I'll ride along like this and try to find the thickest patches of grass that are in this area right here. Because this submerged vegetation a lot of times isn't super thick, it's patchy. Like this is real spaced out patchy. And I'm watching the side view. Oh, there's a nice little, yeah, there's a nice little patch right there. So I can touch the screen right there, create a waypoint, drop it there. So now it just dropped me a waypoint on my map right over there. And that's a thicker patch. I can see it. It's a lot different looking. Everything's the same. It's all grass under the boat, thin grass. But you'll see where certain areas look different, and that's what you want to find. Like there's another one right there. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Waypoint that. Again, that's still about 35 feet to my left. See how it changed colors right in here? That's the shadows, and see how it got real bright? Oh yeah, look at all the differences in this stuff. See how this, it looks all the same. This looks all the same. And look at all this, big patches of thick, different coloration, different shadows are all shaping in there. That means it's thicker and different. Oh, look at all that. So I'm gonna drop a waypoint right in there. That's perfect. We need to fish some of this. And if you look on this side, it's kind of all evenly. So we know that we're real close to the edge. And then again, with the traditional sonar, you know, that's what it's gonna look like in your traditional as well. You can see the holes in the grass. This is what you also want to look for. When you see grass like this, there's holes. See how there's no grass there and a little hole, no grass there and a little hole. That might actually be an old bass bed. You know, that's where the bass are going to spawn. That's actually a depression. Look at that. Little hole, real thick, real thick, real thick, little hole, real thick, little hole. That kind of inconsistency in the grass is what I like to find. There's just tons of good looking stuff right here. So now, let's jump up, make a few casts. Let me show you 2 or 3 baits I like to fish in this type of grass, see if we can catch one. What the heck was that? It scared the mess out of me, dude. They're here. I had one come and just attack it at the boat. Wow, kind of scared me. First couple casts I made in there. I don't know if you could hear that actually, but one just blew up right at the boat. That's a good sign. So we pulled in this grass, and there's a couple different ways I like to fish it. Number one, I'm gonna throw a moving bait of some sort first, because I wanna find out where the concentration of the fish are. And I also want to kind of see what this grass is all about, as far as, is it good clean grass? Is it real mossy grass? Because sometimes you get on some grass beds and there's like moss and different things on the grass that kind of, I don't like. You know, I want real good and clean, crisp stuff. So this little moving bait right here, it's a chatterbait actually right now, or a swim jig would work good. An impact swim jig would be a great choice. I actually caught fish in the tournament on an impact swim jig as well. And I would kind of rotate between a chatterbait and a swim jig. Once the water got high here on the Potomac River, on the tide, I would throw a chatterbait a little bit more. And when it was at mid-tide or even lower tide, I would throw the swim jig because it would come through the grass a little bit better. So I'm just gonna make some long casts with this bait and cover water, see if we can't locate one. You know, I'll give you a quick chatterbait tip is I like to reel it as slow as I can where I'm not getting too bogged up. You know, it seems like I catch bigger fish every time I slow that chatterbait down and just kind of creep it along. It seems like that's when I always get those bigger bites. I remember at Okeechobee years ago, I was fishing a chatterbait and I caught a 10-pound, 5-ounce bass. And I remember the exact cast because I was reeling it kind of fast and I was getting a little impatient. You know what happens when you hadn't caught one in a while, fishing too quick. And I remember physically slowing down, thinking, I'm gonna slow this bait down. And I remember getting it slow, and I was just barely hitting that grass. I could feel that blade shaking, and then boom, 10-pounder right there. It was an awesome, awesome fish. One of the biggest ones I've ever caught. And it was because I slowed that chatterbait down. So I want to slow it down a little bit and just tick that grass. Now you'll see me jerking my rod every once in a while, and that's just me trying to rip it free of the grass itself, because this grass is a little clumpy in this area. It looks good. The other thing is I have the Panoptics right here. Now this is great. Now we're in a lot of grass, so it's showing tons of it, but you'll see where there's gaps, and you can see where the taller patches are. Like there's actually a taller patch of grass in that zone right there. And then I can kind of move the trolling motor head around and find where the edges are, or find where the thicker patches are, or find where maybe more holes are. It's a really good deal. The Panoptics is a forward shooting sonar for those that you don't know. And it's one of the coolest things it's one of the coolest things that's been invented in a long time. There's one. Feels like a good one too. Maybe. Hey, that's a good one. Oh yeah. Look at that. Bass in the grass. Not a giant, but that was cool. Now I'm gonna power pole down. This is the other thing I do when I catch a fish in these grass beds is power pole down, because as you are unhooking the fish or culling the fish, doing whatever you gotta do, your boats are drifting. I caught that fish on that lineup right there. I'm trying to remember right now that's where I need to cast again, because there could be a school of them there. Pretty cool. Not a big bass, but nevertheless, still a bass. All right. When I fish these grass beds like this, I also will usually throw several different colors of baits. But basically, here's my rule. I'll start off if the water's a little dingy like this. This is a main lake grass bed here, not back in a creek or way back into a big bay. It's a main lake grass bed. And so a lot of times those main lake grass beds are a little bit more conducive to throwing your white colors, your shad color baits, because there's more shad gonna get in there. You get way back in the creeks, you get way back in the swampy bays, and there's not as many shad back in there. It's mostly bluegill and things like that, so your black and blues or your natural colors will work. Now, black and blue and all that will still work here because of the watercolor. This watercolor is not real clean on this particular spot, so a darker color might work better. So a lot of times I'll make a little pass down through with one color, catch a few fish, try a different color, see if it produces a little bit bigger bites. Or once I start getting dialed in on where I'm getting bit, then I can slow down with a swim jig or slow down with a worm. and really try to milk some of these places or some of these concentrations of bass out of this grass bed. But for right now, again, this is as if I was practicing for a tournament. I don't want to sit there and catch 10 fish out of that school. I want to move around in here and see where my parameters are of fish. And then I can slow down tournament day and hopefully catch, you know, more and bigger fish. Well, I've alternated between the white one and this one here. Let me show you my setup on this. You know, I love throwing chatterbaits. Chatterbait's not even a sponsor of mine, but I do buy my share of chatterbaits. But again, any moving bait would be good. You know, again, an impact swim jig would be awesome. A weedless swim bait would be awesome. But here on the Potomac River, they do like chatterbaits and swim jigs, probably the best out of those two options. So, but right now I have this rigged up. Let me show you my setup. Because when you fish a chatterbait in the grass, you need to have it rigged up properly. So 17-pound fluorocarbon. This is P-line tactical. I love the stuff. I've been using it all year. It's been amazing, actually. And a 7-foot 3-inch rod. This is what I call my frog swimbait rod by Akuma. We'll drop a link in the description down below. You can check it out. And I should rename this rod to everything rod, because I literally throw everything on it. Not just frogs and swim baits, chatterbaits to worms to light flipping, whatever. But the 7.3 is good. And here's why. It's got enough length to make the long cast. It also has enough backbone to drive that hook in this grass, but yet it still has a little bit of a soft tip. And all my rods are actually designed that way. They're specifically designed that way to fish with heavier line or braid. And so that's that rod. Now my reel, this is a Helios. This particular one here is a 7.3 to 1. I like to reel it pretty slow. You know, again, slowing that bait down is going to get bigger bites, so don't get in the habit of reeling it too fast. Trailer-wise and chatterbait-wise, 3/8 to a half, and occasionally a quarter, depending on how thick the grass is. If you get in a situation like this and the grass is super thick and super shallow, you want to throw a 3/8 with a big bulky trailer like I have here, or throw a 1/4 ounce with a smaller trailer on it. You know, you can kind of choose whatever you think is going to work the best. This particular one here has a big crawdad on the back of it, has a lot of resistance in the water. It's big and bulky. It's going to let that bait stay up and above the grass a little bit. My other chatterbait that I have rigged up here is basically your standard chartreuse and white, has a little swim bait on the back of it, 3/8 in size as well, rigged up with the same line, same rod, and basically the same reel, just a different color. And my swim jig rod's the same way. Swim jigs, I'm gonna go a little bit lighter. I don't really like heavy line on a swim jig, unless I'm like going down the shore, like fishing in cover that I can physically see. When you're in open water, grass bed fishing, like a Tom Mansour. Tom Mansour is doing great at the Potomac River, right? He's whacking them. He loves a swim jig. He's throwing his swim jig, I bet, on 12 to 15-pound line max. But with the chatterbait, I'm gonna go 15 to 17. So I like a little bit lighter line with that swim jig. It seems to make it just kind of swim a little bit better, a little bit more natural, and it's really, really good. So let's see if we can't catch one more fish, make another pass down through here, drop a few waypoints along the way, and that's where we do it. Missed him. Just had one just wreck it right there. And actually, I'm gonna drop a waypoint again. It's actually real close to where I caught the other one. I made a pass, another pass down through here. And again, you'll see me twitch my rod. And why I'm twitching my rod, so check this out. You're reeling that bait along. Here's the tip. This is the tip within the tip within the tip, okay? Chatterbait, it vibrates, right? And so when I cast it out there totally clean, my bait is vibrating a certain frequency. I feel it. When I get grass on it, either A, I'm gonna feel a little bit more resistance, like it's heavier, or I'm gonna feel that vibration change. Like right now, the vibration's changing a little bit, and I'll just kind of pop my rod. Like sometimes you just pop it real hard like that. Now it's back to vibrating. You want to make sure that you keep your bait clean and keep that vibration the same. And if you start to get grass on it, give it a sharp little twitch. Well guys, hopefully this little tip here on how to find submerged grass beds will help you, because finding those little hard to find places like this, like a little submerged grass bed just like this, where not everybody can look over and see it, is pretty cool. So again, moving baits at first, chatterbaits, swim jigs, cast worms around. You know, evaluate where your best spots are in the grass by using your graph, dropping waypoints when you get bit, power pulling down when you need to, and that's how we do it. So get out there and give it a shot, find you some sneaky holes. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for dropping comments, man. I love you. I am out. Bam!